Well, we had a blast last Wednesday at the Listener Appreciation Putting Tournament. I mean, it was great. Didn't we have a good time?
I loved it.
We had so much fun.
Thank you for letting me use your putter, too.
Yeah,
no problem.
I couldn't believe how well Frank Sanders played.
Yeah, he was great.
I mean, it was outstanding. Hey, Frank, it was great seeing you last week, buddy. Good job, man.
Glad you could make it on time.
Glad you could make it on time, yeah.
Hey, look, you better stop saying that before you confuse our listeners. And it's not this Wednesday.
Well, Frank, I did a random selection, and you and I are teamed up together. So you better bring your A game, all right? I mean, that's you better show up, first of all. I mean, you were so excited you came a week early. But Listener Appreciation Putting World Tournament is this Wednesday at Putting World. You got it? What is your assistant just not on his or her A game or what?
Look, we were not on our A game last week, man. We had a lot of distractions that was going on, a couple of beautiful charities, and I wanted to try to sneak you guys in. Also, I've been practicing on my putting because me and Rock got $1 a hole putting match, so I just kind of got excited and I was ready to go.
We're doing it. Yep, we got it's $36. All right, Frank. This defense is playing pretty well for the Cardinals. Offense continues to be pretty inconsistent, but I mean, they're not getting blown out. So there's something positive there. But what would you like to happen here? Now we're kind of at the halfway point. What would you like to see happen in the second half of the NFL season for the Cards?
You know, honestly, I'm ready to move on from Joshua Dobbs. I'm ready to find out what Clayton can do.
Okay.
We know that Kyler's coming back. We know that Kyler's coming back at some moment here in the near future. But Joshua Dobbs in the NFL has basically showed him that he's a backup quarterback. Let me add this little caveat. I think he's definitely gotten better as a quarterback. I think he will probably be, probably another year or two, the next Geno Smith in regards to the fact that he has time to.
Is that you got to get that? Frank, you got to get that call? I heard your phone ringing. You got to get that?
Hey, somebody got to work, man. You're not working. Let me work, please.
I'm sorry.
I think he'll get the Geno Smith I think he'll kind of get the Geno Smith award in the next couple of years, which is he's proven to be a pretty decent quarterback. Just like Geno, he struggled the first couple of years of finding out how defenses are trying to attack him, what they're doing to kind of, throw him off a little bit. And it's just rattling him a little bit where he's not able to be as effective as he needs to be in this offense as he was the first, couple of weeks. And right now, but I do think he did a pretty good job. But it's time to move on from him. Let's see a couple of weeks of Clayton Tune before we kind of get into the process of seeing Kyler Murray come in.
Well, here's the thing: Kyler's got either this week or next week to make an appearance, Frank, or he goes back on the IR for another 4 weeks. So he has to be ready to go. And at that point, if he goes on the IR for another 4 weeks, he comes back for the last 4 games of the year. Does it make sense to bring him on? Or does it make sense to bring him on the sooner or the later now?
You know what? We're playing this with gentle hands in regards to how does Kyler Murray feels. And then yet in the back end, you have this conversation that are we in a position where we want to protect Kyler, let him get healthy 100%. If he doesn't want to go next week or the following week, then we put him on the PUP, move on from him. Yeah. And then next year the draft comes up, and the next conversation comes on, are we keeping Kyler Murray? And then the Caleb Williams and the other 4 or 5 quarterbacks that are coming out of college right now becomes the conversation. That to me is the scary part right now if I'm a player in that locker room because, I'm expecting to get the best out of myself, but not only that, my teammates. And Kyler Murray makes us better than what we have in the quarterback position right now. I just know he does. I believe that with all my heart. I think that he has a skill set that the other guys just do not have. But Joshua's done a pretty decent job. Decent as averaging out 132 yards a game is not great, but it's decent for a backup quarterback. And you're right, Brock. We're not getting blowed out, so there's a good sign on that note.
Do you feel that some of the play calls when I watch offensively, and again 0 for 3 on 4th down attempts yesterday, that this team knows that look, this is going to be one of those down years. They're playing with house money, and damn if they do, damn if they don't. And they've got that kind of leeway and not to get the victories because that'd be a hard sell in that locker room if that's the attitude coming from management down to the coaching staff. Because sometimes I go, This staff is either playing with house money or trying to just, pull one out because there's a lot of questionable calls on both sides of the ball.
Well, you know how it is. I think that I've been on so many losing teams and struggling. Let me just say this. I've been on so many struggling teams and struggling at different positions that doesn't allow the 11 men that's on the field to actually become a complete package. You see glimpses of it, but it's not enough to kind of give you, 65 to 75 plays a game. And, you try to, as I'm pretty sure as an offensive coordinator or defense coordinator, you try to make the best calls that either you're protecting somebody or you're trying to protect the hole that you have offensively or defensively. I've seen it on both ends when my quarterbacks were young trying to figure it out, or had quarterbacks that were veterans and still trying to figure it out with a young O-line. And so I think there's a part where you're right. You, with the eye that you have of experience, Maluch, can see that there are things that should be called and they're not getting called. But that's, taking the mindset that it's either, be aggressive or not be aggressive. But the idea some coaches take is that they have to protect certain guys from doing certain things because they're just not good at it versus that opponent. Maybe next week's opponent we can do it, but we can't do it against this opponent. And I think, that's the part where you just kind of sit back and scratch your head. Is it house money? I'm not sure because, you got guys in the locker room trying to fight and play hard, but every Sunday you keep showing up getting the same results. It does feel like, the dealer's winning and the dealer's winning and my 19 or 20 is never scoring.
Frank Sanders is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. All right, Frank, I get where you're going there with trying to see Clayton Tune getting some reps, but Manuch made the really good point that if we're going to see Kyler Murray, we got to see him this week or next week, or he's gone for another 4 games. So what are you going to do, Frank? You got to settle the score here. Are you going to play Tune 1 week and Kyler the next? Or just let Kyler go back then to the PUP list?
Look, we got a scary team coming in here. Like, this is not an easy team we got coming in.
Right.
And we can go back. Remember the beginning of the year? Look, we saw that this schedule was a gauntlet for the Cardinals to go through. If Kyler wasn't on the first 4 weeks, it was going to be tough. If Kyler wasn't here for 8 weeks, it was going to be tough. And even if Kyler was here, it was going to be tough.
Sure.
So the idea is that you got to start kind of plugging away and finding out what you got. I was surprised that we brought Joshua in because I thought that Clayton had done a pretty good job during the preseason. We got a couple of wins, which he hadn't done in the preseason in the last couple of years. And so I thought that he had proven to be something. But again, a coach familiar with his past quarterback and saying he brings a little bit more of experience to the offense, I get it. Look, Jimmy B, if it's me and, I'm in the locker room, I want the best quarterback that can give me the best opportunity.
Okay.
136 yards out of 37 passes is just not getting it done. I don't care how you look at it. From a receiver or a tight end perspective, we're dinking and dunking the ball all around. Well, hell, Clayton Tune can do that. At least we think he can throw a deep ball because that's one of the main reasons why we brought him in here because last year we weren't throwing the ball deep.
Frank, you've been on some teams that have struggled, have not won a lot of games. This team's going down that road. Washington Commanders are doing this; are going down that road, and you got some players that are being outspoken that are pretty upset about how it's been there in Washington. How do you keep it together? How does a young coaching staff keep this team together as this team starts piling on more losses?
The losses might come, but you try to focus on the overall goal is that look, the season's still long, and if we still got 9 more games to go, I think, in the season. I could be wrong, Rock. I tried to tell you we was going to win 10, and I was probably drinking that day, so I apologize for that.
Oh, no, we got on tape.
Yeah, we know you were drinking that day. We know.
Oh, I know you got it on tape. I know you got it on tape. But I think the biggest thing is that what I've always seen happen with a team is that the leadership is that we still got to go out and play. So you might as well bring your best, and you might as well give your best because if you don't, you're going to find yourself getting your butt kicked. And so the reality is that no matter what you do and how this team looks, the guys got to still rally around the idea that they got a chance to reach their personal goals. And hopefully that maybe week 11, week 11, 12, we become a team and we find something and then we can kind of run on a stretch. And so you just never know when that's going to happen. You just don't know what quarterback's going to take over that. You don't know what system or what mindset that the offensive coordinator finds out that really works for this team is going to be that. That's the hope of a 17-week season. on was the mindset that I had to have, and a lot of guys had in the leadership position, is that you just never know, so you don't ever give up the fact that this team still can become something pretty special. We might not make it to the playoffs, but the idea is that we can finish up on a good note and go home and then look forward to next season.
Do we need intern Barney or Jax to come pick you up? Make sure you get there on Wednesday. You gonna be all right?
Did you say Casa or did you say Jack Daniels? Which one did you say? I don't know.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We will see you on Wednesday, buddy. Right?
Yeah, brother. I'll see y'all on Wednesday. Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Is it starting at 5, or are you doing the color people time and saying it starts at 5, but it really starts at 5:30? Which one?
No.
Well, because we're off the air at 4, so we're going to wait for your ass to get there
yeah.
so we can start on time at 5. So you have a tea time at 5.
There we go.
You're second off. So 5:05. We'll give you 5:05.
Thank you, sir. That's all I needed.
We'll see you then. That's Frank Sanders joining us.
All right, brothers. Have a good one.
Yeah, all right, buddy. He'll join us for our listener appreciation putting world tournament on Wednesday. Should be a lot of fun. Coming up, Vikings welcome the 49ers for Monday Night Football. We'll tap into that, give you an update of the Phillies, and Diamondbacks got a good one, and Rangers and Astros, which will be getting underway in about an hour and a half. It's Rock and Minuch with Jimmy B from Casino, Arizona.
Clear. This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Zach Wilson has just